Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a beautiful, soft mountain scene with some pretty evergreens in the front. And of course, if you're enjoying these and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now I'll start today here with our 2-inch brush and a little bit of white and blue. And yeah, let's come right up here and drop in a little bit of a sky. Not a whole lot, just a little. And I tell you what, let's actually, while we're going up here, let's change that color so that we get some other things happening instead of just blue and white. There we go. See, I'm going to mix these in and around. Now today I'm using an oil primed linen canvas, so you may notice that the paint goes on a little differently. I'm certainly noticing that. It should be okay though. There, that looks decent. Probably enough actually. And I'll just take some other brush, put a little paint into it in case it's dirty, and then just blend all these together. I put a little white into it so that if there's some green left in the brush, I won't get green in my light sky areas. Now as you can see, I've done a basic sketch of a mountain, a little bit of a pond, or actually I guess it's a lake. Anyway, I'm going to take a green that's actually very similar to my palette. And I'm going right up here and I want to sketch in, well actually fill in some of our sketch. Now obviously we don't want to do the same old color over and over again. Way too much of the same color. Instead, what we'll do up here is I'll change to some blues and more white. You know what I mean? Just change it up. Do different things. There's a little bit of our green there. So see, you can just splatter color around and then sort of work it all together. Maybe up in here, more brown. You can even start putting yellows in. But you just kind of see how I do this. Very loose. And this way we'll get a better effect than trying to come in here and say, okay, the whole mountain's going to be this color. And yeah, this is better. So anyway, we'll do this. I like that. A bit of a spot maybe for a potential waterfall. That would probably look halfway decent there. Cool. Now I'm going to drop in some shadows for snow up here. You see I just simply have a little blue and white. Very, very easy right on the filbert brush. And look how all those different colors, I ended up putting even more colors in it than I was expecting. But look at how they kind of make the mountain look better. That's interesting, isn't it? You know, gotta do that. If you can put as many colors, well, if you can put too many colors in to count, then you're ahead of the game. Because then it doesn't matter if you, well, okay, it matters. It doesn't matter as much how crazy you go with the details because you already got some of the details worked in just by use of color. Your eye will sort of use that color to make up different objects. Like all of a sudden you think, oh, there's a bunch of rocks with highlights and different things, moss growing on them, trees and bushes, you know, whatever, because of the color, right? Can't you start to see stuff because of that color already? That's a good trick. So make sure when you're painting to do that. Putting as many colors as you can. It's the #1 thing to do to make painting easier. To at least make your work detailed more easily. There. You see I left these areas kind of blank. Now I'm just filling them in. Now as you can see, I've got a soft green color sort of mixed up right here. A little yellow in it is okay, but not much. I did use a little bit of blue, which is nice. Okay. Anyway, the point of and all that is I just want it to look far away, so don't go too vibrant yet. We can put a couple more vibrant colors in the foreground. Okay, here we go. Just drop on our little patches of green up here in the mountain. Nice. Now the light is coming across kind of like this. Things back here should be very soft. Lots of blues in them. It'll make a nice effect that way. So just layer on a little of this. I'm not going to go overboard. Not with the green stuff today. Cool. And then maybe just a touch, maybe right up in here. I don't know, just a little. Lots of that's rock. We don't want a lot of grass up here or trees, whatever this is representing. Let the viewer decide. Don't have to spell everything out. Cool. And then maybe just a couple more of those touches. Maybe, you know, coming down the mountain. There we go. I don't know, it just gives you kind of something interesting, doesn't it? Anyway, we can play around with this. This doesn't have to be perfectly finished out just yet. Now I'm going to load up a nice highlight color onto my detail round. So I've changed brushes here. And I'm going to just sprinkle this on. And I like that, you know, those variations do indicate a lot of action already. So I'm just working at getting a little bit more. That's too red. I don't want it quite that red. I was trying to get more of an orange. I was not paying a lot of attention, and that's what I got. So there you go. More orange. Just give it a little color. I don't want a lot of color, but just a little bit will be okay. It looks colorful now, but once you get other stuff in the foreground, it won't really seem that colorful. Cool. There you go. And I like, see that? I'm leaving those little bits of color in there. I like those. We're leaving them intact. Cool. So, you know, kind of, this is a little bit of an interesting lighting situation just because of the way the mountain is shaped. I feel like we're kind of watching more of the shadow side. Plus, over on this side, I just want this side to be misty, not because that's maybe the way it would look, more just because that's more interesting for the actual painting itself. So this side is certainly going to be mistier. There, really don't want, actually don't want much color up in that area anyways. There. Cool. A lot of this is going to be covered up, so no worries. Now I'm going to load up my blender brush with a nice soft color that matches the sky, and I bet you know where we're going. Since we're pretty much done with this mountain up here, I'm looking around where I want to start with this. Well, this may or may not be covered by a giant tree, so I'm going to start over here. I think it'll be slightly more important. So that's how you decide when you're doing stuff like this. I guess I haven't really told you what we're doing unless you already know. When you're doing stuff like this, you know, pick the area that you're going to look at first, that you're going to see the most. Do that area first. I'm going to set my brush down, just get it moving, pick up a little paint. Watch this. I'm going to drift that thing right over the mountain. So much fun. Any little hairs that might pop out of the brush, you can sort of lift those off later. Don't worry about them yet. All right, over here, skip a little spot just right here. Lightly, soft, oh yes. Okay, step back, kind of take a look. Oh man, that's looking good. I love this sort of stuff. This to me is just so much fun. Next, I'll load up our filbert brush with a little brown and green. Interesting color, but I think it'll work. I think it'll be a good forest color for these colors that we're using, you know, in the painting already. Okay, let's go ahead and start right about here and just drop in some trees. And you see, I just bring these out. This is just the dark part, and I'm just smooshing them out. And then we'll highlight them and make them actually very pretty later. Even with the detail round brush, we can pull out a little more detail than we would otherwise have over here. And I'm gonna, again, just like I did in the mountain, I'm gonna throw in a lot of colors. Just a ton of color. Here's some blue coming in. There. See that? That works. Remember to do some dead ones and some other things. There. Now I'm just finishing up kind of detailing these evergreens. And you see, once you kind of put in the bloppy evergreen, then you can come back with just the tiniest touch of paint on the brush and barely touch the canvas, and you bring out these little limbs that look so soft. And it's kind of a different technique for evergreens, but I like it in this painting because we're really working with a lot of softness, and we'll have some other objects in the foreground that kind of make up for the softness. Anyway, now we can go ahead and just underpaint our water here. It looks a little on the crazy side. Let's get that thing brought back down there. A little brown never hurt. Cool. And then I did not put any of our clear gel and white down here. This is just dry canvas. Now I spent the last minute or two here just kind of sculpting this edge. So now I'll take our 3/4 brush. I'm going to pull down because I added a little more paint here. It gives me something to kind of pull down. Plus I got a little bit in the brush. This creates some reflections. Of course, do them bigger where the trees are. Maybe you want to do real tree reflections. You can do that if you want to. Doesn't matter to me. I think we might actually do it. I might do it. What you do is you just take that color, whatever the tree color was, and you kind of just mush it into the water like this. So you just kind of create a better reflection. I don't know if that even is necessary, but that's how you do it. There we go. And then you kind of blend it in. Pull this down over here. Go a little bit darker. Nice. And then we will simply blend it like this to create more of the rippley effect. Very nice. Nice and dark down here because let's face it, there's a lot of trees. This should be pretty much almost black. Now I'm going to block in one of the most important pieces of this painting, a large tree. You see I sketch out both sides, and I get up here and I start I underpaint it, well, at least kind of how I want it to be. You know, this tree is going to be kind of twisted, so I'm doing it with my underpainting. There, use as little paint as possible, but you still want it to cover. It's okay if it's a little bit light. We can always add the darks in, you know, kind of glop them on thick later. That would be easier than trying to paint over a bunch of heavy paint. Cool. Now that we have a little mid-tone action up here, you see there's a lot of colors. I'd like to highlight, so I've got my detail round and I'm gonna go like this. This will probably cut through the paint. This should, I hope, layer on just enough. And there it is. Yes. Ooh, that's actually really nice. It almost kind of, you see, you get these little holes. I like that because you're glopping it on. The bristles are really essentially not touching. They kind of are, but they're essentially not touching. And I'm holding, see, no pressure on the actual bristles of the brush. Cool. Oh, that looks like it's glowing now, doesn't it? A little bit more up here. Oh, yes. Sometimes you have to kind of whisper and get quiet and then wipe your brush off and then watch how easy it is now to just take that and feather that in. I love the way this tree is kind of twisted. It's like some branches broke off and it's had some weird things happen to it, so it kind of had a twist to it. It's just a close-up of a very old evergreen tree. It really makes the painting. I really wanted this to be about the evergreen trees today. Nice. If you're struggling with this, wipe this area gently with a paper towel. Now I'm just finishing up this tree with a couple of hits of this blue. It's just a little blue and black. And a little white, I guess, in there too. It just adds a reflected light, not too much, just a subtle little hint here and there. Only on the left-hand side, and that just completes the tree. I think that makes it look so nice. All right, now with that out of the way, let me jump over here as a filbert brush, and I just want to start working on some trees, and I'm going to very delicately touch. If you push down really hard, you get kind of a blobby effect. And these trees are very soft, way softer than I normally paint them, just for fun. And so I'm coming in here and I'm barely touching the bristles, kind of like the tree over there. The bristles are barely touching the canvas. And if the paint doesn't come off, just add more. Don't push any harder. So there you have it. Very light. It'll take a few more minutes, but I'll show you the result. I think you'll like it. I think it'll be worth it. There, just do this over and over and over again. For all these trees, it may take you, I don't know, 5 or 10 extra minutes to do it this way. Very soft and delicate. Thousands and thousands of limbs in here. There, now I'm just finishing up here with our grass. I'm just slamming it down with the fan brush. And that's all it takes, just very quick, to drop in a lot of beautiful grass areas. All right, now I got my filbert brush and some thin green. And I'm gonna place in a few blades of grass. Woo! Words weren't coming to me there. There we go. See that just, I don't know, makes it look nice. I want to keep them fairly thin. I don't want them to overpower the tree or anything else in this painting, actually. Then obviously a contrast rule tells us that these guys don't show up too well where there's not a lot of dark. So we may need to change to some dark ones, of course. I'm going to also take this time to throw in some, you know, extra tree trunks and dead limbs and stuff, which I've already pretty much done with the 3/4 brush earlier. Just threw them in quick, just to get them in place. It wasn't a big deal. This brush is great when you get the paint consistency perfect. Oh man, does it last forever. Cool. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.